to see you on this beautiful fall afternoon. We are now on day 35 of the Democrat government shutdown. The Democrats' obstructionism will break the record for the longest government shutdown in American history tonight. The Democrats are intentionally hurting American families, workers, and businesses with this shutdown to fight for free health care for illegal aliens and to appease their radical left-wing base. And it's a total disgrace. This past weekend, Americans traveling to weddings, funerals, vacations, and meetings faced significant flight disruptions at airports across the country because of staffing shortages. On Sunday alone, more than 5,000 flights traveling to and from U.S. airports were delayed. Since the Democrat shutdown began, 4 times as many staffing shortages have been reported at air traffic control facilities compared to last year. TSA checkpoint wait times ballooned past 3 hours at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport, with some passengers enduring up to 5 hours in line. At nearby William P. Hobby Airport in Texas, security wait times are routinely exceeding 1 hour. More than 13,000 air traffic controllers are continuing to work without pay. Because of the Democrats, these men and women who keep our airspace safe and moving will miss a second paycheck in a row this Friday if Democrats refuse to open the government. Let me be clear to our incredible air traffic controllers across the country. President Trump and Republicans want you to get your paychecks. They want you to be paid. Please call on your Democrat senators and tell them to side with President Trump and Republicans to vote to reopen the government. Our nation's 4 largest airlines, United, Delta, American, and Southwest, have now all endorsed the Republican, nonpartisan, clean funding bill to end the government shutdown. Major unions, collectively representing tens of thousands of pilots, have also joined the airlines in calling on Democrats to pass the clean, nonpartisan CR. The travel industry is also imploring Democrats to end the shutdown and reopen the government. Nearly 500 companies and groups in the travel business, including casinos, hotels, and convention bureaus, signed a public letter warning that America's travel economy has already lost $4 billion due to this Democrat shutdown, and they have called for the Republican CR to be passed, saying Americans expect and deserve a fully functioning federal government during the peak holiday travel season. Never before have we seen private industry and union leadership so unified on the same issue, rallying behind Republicans in such a vocal way. The Democrats have completely lost the plot. They are endangering the safety, prosperity, and livelihoods of millions of Americans. It's well past time Democrats do what they did 13 times under Joe Biden and pass the clean funding bill extension. All we need are 5 Democrat senators to put country over party and vote to end this reckless shutdown. In other news, tomorrow will mark the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's historic election victory, where he won nearly 80 million votes, the popular vote, in all 7 swing states. This was the ultimate poll on November 5th. The president secured a mandate to make America great again, and he has delivered in record time. Never before have we had a president who has kept their promises like President Trump has. I'd like to go over a few of those with you. In less than 10 short months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cut in history, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security to put more money back into the pockets of the American people. The president ended the southern border invasion of the Biden administration, made our border the most secure in history, and he is carrying out the largest mass deportation campaign of illegal aliens in our nation's history to protect our homeland, just as promised. President Trump has aggressively taken on drug cartels by declaring them as foreign terrorist organizations and even blowing up narco-terrorists who have tried to poison the American people with fentanyl and other illegal narcotics. President Trump defeated the Biden inflation crisis, and he continues to implement a pro-growth, America First economic agenda to make America affordable again, and we are seeing the results of that every day. Inflation has remained low and steady, averaging just 2.5% compared to the painful average of 5% under Biden, and we know it was historically higher than that for most of President Biden's term. Meanwhile, real private sector wages are on track to rise by almost $1,500 since President Trump took office, a significant change to the Biden years where private sector wages declined and were being wiped out by inflation. President Trump has ended the reckless war on American energy and unleashed energy dominance, with gas prices now plummeting to their lowest average levels in more than 4 years. President Trump implemented powerful tariffs to rebalance America's trade deals, protect American workers, and returning our country to be a manufacturing superpower once again. As a result, the president has secured trillions and trillions of dollars in private and foreign investments into the United States, which are creating high-paying jobs for the greatest workforce in the world. The president has restored America's place as the leader of the free world through his unwavering peace through strength foreign policy that has already ended 8 wars and counting. And the president ended illegal DEI initiatives in our federal government and is returning our country to a merit-based society based on common sense. President Trump protected opportunities for women and girls to compete safely and fairly by continuing to keep men out of women's sports. Americans have a president who works tirelessly, literally 24/7, to improve their lives and make our country better than it has ever been before. So with that, today we will open it up to questions, and we will start with our independent journalist in our new media seat, Julio Rosas. Julio, please start. Thank you.
Caroline Levitt. She's a rock star. And she's a lot prettier to look at than the last 4 years of what we had up there. The government shutdown continues. And we're going to talk about that and many other things like the elections that are going on right now. But first, you had many places to be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Whether you're watching us tonight live on the YouTube channel, the Rumble channel, the X channel, please like, subscribe, hit the little bell, share it with your family and friends, and also check out DouglasDucote.com and our Facebook page, The Douglas Ducote Show, if you happen to be on Facebook. Okay, so I want to start tonight talking a little bit about the government shutdown. Senator Ted Cruz accused Democrats of prolonging the government shutdown for political advantage ahead of today's election, predicting the standoff could be over by week's end. The shutdown, now tied for the longest in history at 35 days, has disrupted travel nationwide and left millions of Americans with reduced Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the SNAP program, benefits. Senate Democrats have remained firm in refusing to back Republican-led proposals unless their plans include extensions to federal health care subsidies. But Cruz claims that's not the whole story. They will say later today, keep the government shut. Why? Because it's election day, and they want to turn out their radicals. If they actually allow the government to open up, they're afraid the radicals will stay home. Cruz said he expects Democrats to reverse course after all the votes are cast tonight. My hope is they lose those elections anyway, and then they come back Wednesday or Thursday or Friday and say, all right, enough is enough, let's open the government. Voters are headed to the polls on Election Day for several high-profile contests, including New York City mayor race and Virginia and New Jersey governor races. They want to demonstrate to their radical left-wing base that they can hate Donald Trump as much as the radicals do, Cruz said of the Senate Democrats. This is all about saving Schumer's political behind and trying to ward off primary from AOC. But the shutdown will end. Democrats have blocked more than a dozen Republican attempts to reopen the government, insisting on an extension of the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are set to expire in just a few weeks. Cruz predicted that despite holdouts, the shutdown could end as early as this week. My prediction, it will end either at the end of this week or early next week. It will not end today, he said. We're going to vote later today. Republicans will all votes for the 14th time to reopen the government. I'm going to predict to you right now, the Democrats will vote no for opening it today. And you are 100% correct, because they're not going to. Now, let's talk about what's happening right now with this election. November 4th today is election day in several states. Some states, including New Jersey, New York, and Virginia, began voting at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Georgia and South Carolina are among the states that end voting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. New York City is voting on their mayor. New Jersey is voting on a governor. Virginia for lieutenant governor and attorney general. Then in California, there's Proposition 50. Voters in California decide on whether to temporarily set aside popular nonpartisan redistricting commission, allow Democrat-dominated legislation to determine congressional redistricting for the next 3 election cycles. Pennsylvania for Supreme Court. 3 Democrat leading justices on the Supreme Court follow the completion of their 10-year term, are running to keep their seats in a yes or no retention election. Texas, 18th district, voting on a House representative. There are 4 Democrats running and 1 Republican. Now, the Democrat leadership in Washington, D.C. are saying that if the Democrats win these elections, it is a clear sign that the electorate is walking away from Donald Trump and that Democrats will easily win at midterms. If you believe that, you're smoking Hunter Biden crack. Today's elections are not midterms. They're not a projection of what midterms are going to be like. They're not a projection on Donald Trump. In fact, they will have no impact on how this country feels about Donald Trump. For instance, in New Jersey, of course the Democrat's going to win. There's 2.5 million registered Democrats and 2.3 million registered Republicans. So that's 38.1% to 25.3%. Unless all the damn Republicans showed up, when that's the problem with Republicans, is they don't get out and vote for anything other than president. In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, there's 499,711 registered Democrats to 264,342 Republicans. So of course the Democrats are going to win in Pennsylvania. It has nothing to do with midterms. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. And you can take that shit to the bank, promise you. So let's talk about where we're at right this very moment. In Virginia, for the governor's race, there are 78%, almost 79% is in. And it's got, her name is Abigail Spanberg. She is the Democrat, and currently she has 56.12 to the Republican 43.67. So we're talking about a difference of about 3,000 votes at the moment. But most news agencies are calling it for the Democrat because all the positions, all the areas left open really for the totals to come in are from Democrat-controlled areas. For the lieutenant governor, same thing, 51 or 54.21 for the Democrat to 45.53 for the Republican. Now, for Attorney General in Virginia, it's a little different story. There's 78% in right now, and it's at 51.59 for the Democrat to 47.99 for the Republican. So currently at 78% in, we're only talking about 1,000 difference, which is why every vote counts. In New Jersey, for the governor, this I'm predicting is going to be a runaway for the Democrat governor. It's at 56.86% in. Mickey Sherrill, has 1,064 or 1,064,880 to the Republicans 807,000. So again, when it comes to Virginia and New Jersey, what do you expect? They're predominantly Democrats. So chances of winning there are slim to freaking none. Now, the big thing that I care about, and everybody should care about, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, is what's happening up in New York City right now with the mayor's race. Because it's been predicted, and all the polls showed that this, well, let's call him what he is, Islamic terrorist that should have had his citizenship stripped away from him a long time ago. As soon as Trump took office, our Department of Justice should have done that and got rid of this guy. All right. He has said some of the most hateful things about law enforcement, about our military, about Jews. He is a horrible, horrible candidate. But they managed to pack in, and this goes back to the Obama era, a lot of Muslim people into New York City. And you got to get what you get, folks. So currently, right now, 42% reporting, and he is up at 50.18 to Como, who is at 40.84. Now, we're talking about Mondani's got 486,741 votes right now. Tacomo's 396,177. Here's the two things that are kicking Republicans in the ass for this is Adams is still on there. Shouldn't be. He just got 3,030 votes so far. Silva is on there. He's got 94,803 votes. There's no way in hell he would win. So if you took those two out, this becomes a whole lot closer. And it just updated, 51% in right now. So it's 580 to 485, Mondani Tacoma. At 51% in, we got a long way to go. And I don't see that happening before the show's over with, but it may, not sure. I'm not going to bore you with all the rest of this stuff. When it comes to the Texas 18th District, that was a no-brainer. You've got 3 Democrats running and 1 Republican. Nobody expected the Republican to pull that out. When it comes to Minneapolis, Minnesota, there's nothing but Democrats running. We don't know what those results are yet. That's polls are going to be closing soon. In Detroit, Michigan, same thing. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for the mayor's contest, give it up. It's going to be the Democrat. Again, look what's in Pennsylvania. It's predominantly Democrat registered voters. Atlanta, who gives a shit about the mayor race? It's all there's not a Republican in there, but they vote Democrat because they love their city going to shit. So let it be. In New Jersey, same thing for Jersey City. And same thing in Cincinnati, Ohio. So nothing out of the ordinary. Do not let the Democrat leadership up in Washington, D.C. led you to believe that this is a referendum on Donald Trump and midterms. It's so fucking far from that. When you look at the Democrats that are packed in these districts that are electing the governor and the mayors for those areas, that's how they can even attempt to say that is just shows how stupid they are. Now, what I do want to take a moment to share with you is this isn't a bad thing overall, to be honest with you, when it comes to the governor for Virginia or the governor for New Jersey. And I'm going to tell you why. For the governor of New Jersey, Mickey Sherrill, let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a former naval officer and a former federal prosecutor. She was serving as a U.S. Representative in New Jersey's 11th District, Congressional District since 2019. In 1994, she earned her Bachelor of Science from the United States Naval Academy. In 2023, she received her MS in International and World History from the London School of Economics. In 2004, she received her degree in Arabic language from the American University at Cairo. In 2007, she earned her Juris Doctor from Georgetown University Law Center. In her military career, she was inspired by her grandfather, who served as a pilot in World War II. She wanted to be a pilot as young as the age of 13. She was among the flight school graduates in the first class of women eligible for direct assignment to fly combat aircraft. She graduated from the Naval Academy in 1994, but she was barred from walking during the ceremony because there was a cheating scandal that took place then at the Naval Academy, and they felt that she had information on this and didn't report it. She didn't get in any trouble other than that. She later completed over a year of flight training, was designated as a naval aviator after graduating from Advanced Rotary Wing Training Pipeline at NAS Whiting Field in Florida, and became a U.S. Navy helicopter pilot flying the H-3 Sea King helicopter. She flew missions throughout Europe and the Middle East. In 2000, she was based at Naval Air Station Corpus Christi, Texas. Following her first operational sea duty assignment in Flying Squadron, Sherrill was a Russian policy officer assigned to then headquarters commander-in-chief of U.S. naval forces in Europe. She served on active duty in the United States Navy for 9 years and the final 5 at the rank of lieutenant. In her law career, in mid-2007, she earned her law degree and then went to work for Kirkland and Ellis after graduating from Georgetown University Law Center. Let's see, what else do we need to know about her? 2015, she became a federal prosecutor as Assistant U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey. Following her election to Congress, she joined the Moderate Democrat Coalition, the second largest Democrat caucus in the House, and was named its freshman whip. She also joined the Blue Collar Dog Coalition, a caucus of moderate and conservative House Democrats. That's why I say it isn't a bad thing. She's a former naval officer, highly intelligent, and she's a moderate. In 2019, she initially opposed the first impeachment on Donald Trump, but Nancy Pelosi put all of her Democrats in check. You're either going to vote or we're going to get your ass out of here. On February 1st, 2023, she was among 12 Democrats to vote for a resolution to end the COVID-19 national emergency. On July 9th of 2024, last year, she became the 7th House member to publicly request that Biden step aside as the presumptive Democrat nominee for the 2024 United States presidential election, because even she realized he was not capable of continuing in that position. Now, Abigail Spanberg. She is a former intelligence officer working for the CIA and U.S. Representative for Virginia's 7th Congressional District from 2019 up until now, being elected as governor. Her father was a police officer and her mother was a nurse, which is going to play into some of her concerns here. She positions herself as a moderate Democrat and also a bipartisan Democrat. When it comes to abortion, though, she supports abortion rights. She does not support any legislation that will restrict abortion, period. That's not a good thing because there are reasons why that should be okay. On February 1st, 2023, She was among 12 Democrats to vote for a resolution to end the COVID-19 emergency. On January 31st of 2023, she was among 7 Democrats to vote for H.R. 497, the Freedom for Healthcare Workers Act, a bill that would lift the COVID-19 vaccine mandates for healthcare workers. You remember, they were firing them if they didn't get the COVID shot. When it comes to criminal justice in 2023, she was voted against overturning the District of Columbia's revision of its criminal code, which reduced the maximum penalties for burglary, carjacking, and robbery. And she opposes defunding the police and has supported bills that would increase the ability of local police departments to hire and train more police officers. As far as the environment is concerned, she does believe in climate change and believes it's one of the greatest, most imminent threats to our country and our national security, even though Bill Gates just came out and said, oh, it was all bullshit and it's a lie. So maybe she'll change once she realizes that. When it comes to foreign affairs, in February 2023, during the Russia-Ukraine war, she signed a letter advocating that President Biden give Ukraine F-16 fighter jets. When it comes to gun control, she has called for a new version of the federal assault ban that expired in 2004. What that means, I don't know. But she's not calling for an all-out ban of assault weapons. When it comes to immigration, she objected to President Trump's travel bans for predominantly Muslim countries back in his first term, and argued that they would aid jihadist propaganda by allowing a portrayal of U.S. as an anti-Muslim country. She has voiced her support for stronger border security measures, but opposes a wall. She voted for a bill that included funding for border infrastructure, technology at ports of entry, and more Customs and Border Patrol officers and agents. And she is not supporting sanctuary cities. She voted to allow U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to be notified when undocumented immigrants attempt to purchase firearms, and voted against the House budget in the summer 2019 because it failed to acknowledge the growing national debt. And the last thing about her is that she's married. Her husband's an engineer. They have 3 daughters, and they attend a Protestant church. So neither one of these are bad candidates for Virginia and New Jersey as far as the governorship is concerned. It is what was expected. When you got more registered people that are Democrats than you got Republicans, that's what you're going to end up getting. I mean, that's how it all unfolds. All right, we will check in a little later on those. I'll leave that up right there. And let's go on to some other news. Representative Brandon Gill of Texas is formally introducing impeachment articles against U.S. District Judge James Bosenberg. He put that forward today for that judge's role in Arctic frost probe. And who is that, you ask? Well, just looking at his picture, you know exactly who the hell it is. Republican allies of President Donald Trump have been criticizing him after news broke that he was the judge who signed off on subpoenas and other measures in former special counsel Jack Smith's probe. Chief Judge Bosenberg has compromised the integrity and judicial and created a constitutional crisis. He has shamelessly weaponized his power against his political opponents, including Republican members of Congress who are faithfully serving the American people within their jurisdiction. He signed off on allowing the Department of Justice to go spy on them. Judge Bosenberg was accomplished in the horrible Arctic frost scandal, where he equipped the Biden DOJ to spy on Republican senators. His lack of integrity makes him clearly unfit for the gavel. I'm proud to once again introduce articles of impeachment against him to hold him accountable for his high crimes and misdemeanors. Gill's resolution accused Rosenberg of one count of abuse of power, according to the text. Ignoring his responsibility to wield power of his office is a constitutional matter. Chief Judge Rosenberg granted Special Counsel John L. Smith authorization to issue frivolous non-disclosure orders in furtherance of the Federal Bureau of Investigation project codenamed Arctic Frost. These non-disclosure orders covered members of Congress who were acting in accordance with their legislative duties and privileges granted by Article 1, Section 6, Clause 1 of the United States Constitution. Redacted Article Frost documents were made public last month by Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa. And of course, he's fought against every single thing that Donald Trump has attempted to do, especially when it comes to illegal aliens. He's one of the federal judges that keeps throwing shit at the fan, hoping that something is going to stick and cause chaos. So whether or not the impeachment will hold, if it will go forward and actually become reality, who knows? With the Republicans we have up in Congress right now, my guess is enough of them are going to side with the Democrats not to impeach him, as they are typically doing. We have a group of Republicans, which we've talked about many, many times. You all know who they are. There's about four of them, five actually, that are just, I don't know why they're Republicans. I really don't. I think they just infiltrated the party from the Democrats and we're stuck with them. All right. Something that just broke as I was getting ready to come on the air tonight. Multiple people have been injured. We don't know how many people are dead yet after a UPS cargo plane crashed near the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport in Kentucky. UPS flight 2976 crashed about 5:15 p.m. local time after departing, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. The aircraft is a McDonnell Douglas MD-11, was headed to Daniel K. International Airport in Honolulu, Hawaii. Louisville Metro Police Department confirmed its officers, along with multiple other agencies, were responding to the crash, which happened near the UPS World Port. Police say multiple people were injured. It's unclear if there are any fatalities. This is an active scene with fire and debris, and police are urging everybody to stay away. And we have a video clip that was recently shared. It shows you a little bit of what's happening out there. You can see the airport right here, and it looks like it went down right as it took off. So my assumption is going to be that there were no survivors on board the aircraft. UPS typically only has a pilot, co-pilot, and then sometimes they will have like a load master or other UPS crew members or pilots that are flying somewhere else. So there could be several passengers on board that aircraft for all we know. It is what's left of it is burning. I did see a picture that a friend of mine shared earlier that showed one of the engines laying off to the side. And reports are that it recently had some work done on one of the engines. I don't know if that's true or not. I've been telling you for the past 5 years that we have Islamic terror cells here in America waiting to kill us, all due to the Biden-Harris open border policies. We're told about these terror cells by Biden, DOJ, and FBI for 4 years. In fact, FBI Director Wray for Biden, Harris, Christopher Wray, testified in Congress that it is what keeps him up most nights, wondering where they are, how many there are, and if they can catch them before they attack. And I've been telling you, well, if you watch this show, you know I've said it millions, I've said it thousands of times. It's not if, it's when and where that they're going to do it. They're here. Well, under the Trump DOJ and FBI, we've caught at least two of them. Two Michigan men have been charged with an ISIS-inspired terrorist attack that would have been carried out in Detroit suburbs on Halloween. Muhammad Allah of Dearborn, Michigan, and Majid Muhammad are accused of plotting to launch a terrorist-inspired mass shooting codenamed Pumpkin, according to the court documents. They've been charged with receiving and transferring and attempting to receive and transfer firearms, knowingly and having responsible cause to believe that they would use them to commit terrorism. Ali practiced shooting at a local gun range multiple times, including with Muhammad, a juvenile suspect referred to as Person 1 and under the alias Athra, and once with an unnamed co-conspirator 4, according to the complaint. So there's 4 of them, and it appears 2 of them are juveniles. Charges come after Amar Mackley, a lawyer for Ali, was arrested on Friday, claimed to the Associated Press that there was no plot and that he did not expect charges to be filed. Mackley did not respond to requests for comment. The men appeared in court yesterday. Williams swore, a defense attorney for Muhammad, told reporters outside the courthouse, "We need more time to review the complaint before commenting." But he said both defendants were 20 years old. Well, the complaint is 73 pages long, he said, in response to multiple questions. We haven't had time to digest it or review it. So there's nothing to say at this point. In one exchange, intercepted by law enforcement, according to the affidavit, the unnamed juvenile suspect allegedly assisted the attack should take place on Halloween and not a later date. Before they could act, however, authorities served federal search warrants on both men's homes in a storage unit in nearby Inkster, recovering 3 AR-15 style rifles, 2 shotguns, 4 pistols, and more than 1,600 rounds of ammo, along with other evidence, including GoPro cameras and tactical vests and other gear. With today's unsealed criminal complaint, the American people can see the results of months of tireless investigation work where the FBI acted quickly and likely saved many lives. FBI Director Kash Patel said, "We'll continue to follow the facts, uphold the law, and deliver justice for the American people. The alleged plot began back in September, on September 1, was supposed to be launched against the public on Halloween. But federal authorities were able to intervene. Thanks to the extraordinary diligence of our U.S. Attorney Jeremy Gore Jr., the FBI, and state and local enforcement officers, this plot was stopped before innocent lives were lost." The complaint included multiple unnamed co-conspirators who allegedly participated in the shooting ranges. They also alleged scouted potential attacks locations in Fairdale, Michigan, a suburb north of Detroit, known in part for its LGBT nightlife. Muslims don't like LGBTQ people. The scouting trip stood out to investigate as particularly suspicious because none of the suspects are over 21, according to the complaint. I'm not going to bore you with all the rest of this shit, but basically, thankfully, we have these people in custody tonight. And sadly, there's many more out there. We don't know how many more there are. I remember Christopher Wray when he talked about this, and he talked about how horrible this situation was, and that they'd caught X amount of Middle Eastern terrorists that were on the no-watch list trying to come across our southern border, and he worried about how many they weren't able to catch. They're just here festering, waiting to do their damage. And there was a video released that showed some still shots. That's still shot of one of them. Looks like they were buying weapons at a gun store, or that might be the gun store, and that might be at the range. I'm not sure. So if that wasn't enough, two Massachusetts college students allegedly plotted to carry out an explosion using a large commercial fireworks inside a Harvard Medical School laboratory. Logan David Patterson, 18, of Plymouth, and Dominique Frank Zador, 20, of Burn, were arrested and federally charged in alleged conspiracy to damage a building on Harvard Medical School campus using large commercial fireworks, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office and District of Massachusetts. Both men face one count of conspiracy to damage by means of an explosive the Goldsberg building at the Ivy League University, a facility that houses neuroscience research labs. The two were arrested this morning and appeared in federal court in Boston this afternoon. They have a preliminary hearing scheduled for November 24th. According to the federal complaint, Patterson and Cardozo were allegedly visiting the Wentworth Institution of Technology campus for Halloween activities when they were seen together on October 31st into the early hours of November 1st, according to the FBI affidavit. Surveillance cameras captured the pair walking towards the HMS campus at approximately 2:33 a.m. wearing face coverings and dark clothing. And that was the picture, and that was distributed all out to everybody on the campus and everybody in the area trying to figure out who the hell these people were. Moments later, video showed them igniting what appeared to be fireworks before continuing towards the campus. About 10 minutes later, they were seen climbing over a chain link fence into a construction area surrounding the Goldston building, and minutes later, scaling scaffolding besides the structure to access the roof. At 2:45 a.m., a fire alarm sounded after an explosion inside a fourth research lab went off. Investigators later determined a large commercial firework detonated inside a wooden locker. The explosion device had the potential to cause significant injury to anyone nearby, but only a sheer luck. And because of rapid response by first responders, no lives were lost. No one was injured, only property damage. Between 2:45 and 2:50 p.m., Patterson and Cardozo were allegedly seen visiting the fifth floor before exiting the building and fleeing in opposite directions. According to prosecutors, surveillance video captured Cardozo minutes later sitting on a bench, removing his pants and throwing them in a garbage bin. Patterson was seen back on the nearby Wentworth campus at 3:09 p.m., running between buildings and charging his phone, authorities said. At approximately 3:40 a.m., Patterson reportedly met up with Cardozo, and a third individual and a trio were seen walking towards the Massachusetts College of Art and Design campus. In the video, Patterson had removed his sweatshirt and sweatpants, while Cardozo was still wearing a dark hooded jacket and black sneakers. Witnesses later identified the two men as Patterson and Cardozo, saying they had been visiting for Halloween events. And thankfully, they were not able to fire off anything that would do severe injury or damage to human beings and cause more significant damage and injuries. Thankfully, we have them right where they need to be. Now, I want to share something with you, a few little video clips that I put together. It's just a few minutes that kind of sum up the hypocrisy of the Democrat leadership up in Washington, D.C. when it comes to this government shutdown. So sit back and enjoy this little clip.
Shutting down the government just because you don't like a law that was passed and found constitutional. No Congress before this one has ever in history been irresponsible enough to threaten default, to threaten an economic shutdown, to suggest America not pay its bills, just to try to blackmail a president into giving them some concessions. We're not going to submit to this kind of total irresponsibility. Congress needs to pay our bills on time. Congress needs to pass a budget on time. Congress needs to put an end to governing from crisis to crisis. If Republicans do not like the law, they can go through the regular channels and processes to try to change it. That's why we have elections. You do not threaten the full faith and credit of the United States of America.
Unless you're Chuck Schumer.
2013, it was Republicans who would not vote to fund the government at that time. I want to listen to something you had to say then.
We're in the midst of a government shutdown right now that is unnecessarily forcing pain on the American people. It's a shutdown that was manufactured by the House GOP that has resulted in a situation where Americans all across this country have now been put in jeopardy. That's a tragedy of epic proportions.
I wonder what Hakeem Jeffries of today would say to the Hakeem Jeffries of 2013 who had that message in terms of wanting to pass a clean CR so Congress could get back to work.
Well, the Hakeem Jeffries of today definitively agrees with the Hakeem Jeffries of yesterday from the standpoint of, listen, we've said to Republicans, get to the negotiating table. We want to find a bipartisan path forward. We want to reopen the government. We're standing by hardworking federal employees, but we need a partner in that effort. But we don't have a partner. Literally, Donald Trump, over the last 29 days, has spent more time talking to Hamas and to the Chinese Communist Party than to Democrats on Capitol Hill who represent half the country.
You were asked today if you will defer your paycheck during the shutdown. Obviously, a lot of federal workers, TSA agents are going without paychecks. Have you made a decision on that yet, sir?
I'll be commenting on that shortly, but I understand the sacrifice that people are making, including Capitol Police officers here, and I'm going to conduct myself accordingly, given that sacrifice.
So that sounds like a yes, that you will defer your paycheck.
Well, I have more to say about that shortly, but I think consistent with the values that I just articulated.
The government spends approximately $8.3 billion on SNAP every single month. So if illegals were removed from the payroll, do the math, it would be reduced by the cost of 70%. Like most people, I didn't know about any of this. I had no idea Afghan immigrants were the #1 ethnicity, that 59% of illegals were on our payroll. Before the government shutdown, I had no idea. But because the Democrats wanted to weaponize food, because that's what they're doing, so their constituents would be hangry, hungry and angry, going into the holidays, we now know that those tens of millions of illegals Joe Biden aided and abetted to come into this country are collecting food stamps on mine and yours dime. And here you thought paying for their New York City hotel rooms for a couple $100s a day, that was egregious. As for the Americans on food stamps, I have to ask, how much of your money are they getting and what exactly are they buying with the food stamps?
Look, I voted against the CR because the CR wasn't going to take care of people's health insurance. Health care was going to go up. I didn't vote for that CR. Scott might remember Republicans didn't vote for the CR previously, the same CR in different years. In fact, Republicans removed a Speaker of the House. We forget about that, because he put a CR on the floor. So,
but you did vote against the SNAP benefits, then you admit.
I did not vote against the SNAP.
If you had voted for the CR,
no,
would we have SNAP right now?
Scott,
what
I voted for was a CR that was going to see people in Florida have their health insurance go up almost 100%.
No,
I got
these are separate issues.
No, I got 25,000 people in my district that are going to lose their health insurance because this CR didn't have.
And how many do you have going to lose their SNAP?
Okay. Well, first of all, let's talk about SNAP for a second. Why did the Republicans send $40 billion to Argentina? Where is that money, Scott? Why didn't that go to Americans? Why? That's America first.
It's a credit swap.
That's
We're going to turn a profit on
That's
that.
America first. We're sending money to Argentina rather than taking care of people's
swap.
SNAP bills. I would have loved to have been at Mar-a-Lago while the girls were in the martini glasses when they were trying to figure out what to do with the judge's order. Half the room was probably like, should we pay it? Should we not pay it? And then someone was like, oh, I have a great idea. Let the subjects only get half their rations. I mean, they're only going to give half the SNAP benefits to these people.
How many have the Democrats
Scott.
voted to give?
Scott,
Zero.
look at the polling.
Democrats have repeatedly voted to give zero of SNAP benefits. I'm sorry, this is not. This whole thing could have been averted if Democrats had done what they did in March, which is vote for Joe Biden's budget levels. They have refused to do it. A couple of Democrats in the Senate, like John Fetterman, have shown some courage and backbone. But the bottom line is this party is enthralled to the radical left. That's why they changed their position from March until now. And that's why people are not getting their SNAP benefits. It's why federal law enforcement isn't being paid. It's why Trump's having to scramble to pay the military. This is a Democratic shutdown because of political fear.
Democrats have been consistently voting no on just keeping the government running, opening the government. Are there some Democrats, do you, sir, because you voted no, bear some responsibility for endangering people's food aid?
Well, Donald Trump has said very bluntly that I'm going to cause maximum pain.
Are you kidding me? President Trump never said that. Friends, CNN of all networks actually pointing blame where it belongs, on Cory Booker and the rest of his Democrat comrades. And what did Booker do? The classic spin. Blame President Trump. It's all his fault. Cory Booker, you, sir, voted no, not President Trump. You said no to the mothers crying for help. You said no to SNAP and other food benefits for America's most vulnerable. You said no to sending paychecks to government employees. And you didn't say no just once, not even twice, but 13 times you voted no. Friends, this is the new Democrat Party. Screw America and take zero responsibility for it.
And take zero responsibility for it. Did you like that little clip? It amazes me that the Democrat leadership up in Washington, D.C. forgets all the shit that they said back when Obama was in office and back when the first Trump administration and back when Biden was in office. They just forget about all that shit. Well, thankfully, people like me can bring it up and show it to you, along with other people out there. And, a lot of these clips I get from other people, obviously, put them together so you can see exactly what these hypocrites are saying. What they said yesterday compared to what they say today. So it's a sad state of affairs the Democrat Party is in right now. Again, the elections tonight for governor in New Jersey and Virginia have nothing. In Pennsylvania, and not in Pennsylvania, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where Democrats outnumber Republicans to start with when it comes to registered voters. So I'm going to leave you with this tonight. With the New York City mayor's race, currently right now, with 86.21 in, Mondani, the terrorist, has 987,714 to Como's 810,919. But Sylvia picked up 143,318 and Adams picked up 5,878. So let's do the math real quick and see how close this shit actually is. Where are we at? 919 plus 141, 318 plus 5,878. So right now, if it was just Mondami and Como, and you took out these other two people that have fucked New York, we're talking about 9,058 to 9,878 with 86% reported. That's how close this race would have been. But instead, they are electing someone, thanks to Obama, for stacking the area with a bunch of American haters. Somebody whose days are numbered in politics. Let me put that out there for you. This no good piece of shit Mondani ain't gonna last. In the last few weeks, tons of stuff have come out exposing him for the radical terrorist he is and his family members. Okay? I will go on record and predict that this Department of Justice and this FBI is going to get a criminal indictment against him, and they're going to strip him of his citizenship and deport him out of this country. Because the things that he has said about our law enforcement, about our military, about our veterans, about Jewish people, about Israel, and his support for Hamas terrorism, he's not going to last in that position. So suck it up tonight, dude. Enjoy it while you can. But I believe the Department of Justice and FBI is going to be breathing down your ass really, really soon. Wish they'd already done it, but it is what it is. Folks, you have any place you can be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. I'll be back on Thursday night for another live broadcast. I hope that you will join me. Again, whether you're watching us tonight on the YouTube channel, the Rumble channel, the X channel, please like, subscribe, share it for your family and friends. And also check out DouglasDucote.com. And as a reminder, I don't have the links yet, but they're coming really, really soon, hopefully before this week's up, where you can buy my new book, Baton Rouge to Baghdad and Back. It's in production as we speak. And all we need now is for the links. They're putting together a website, a YouTube channel, and direct links where you can go and buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can get the hard copy, soft copy. You can get a digital copy of the book, and listen to my voice if you want to. If that doesn't drive you insane, I don't know what does. I think they're going to use an AI voice. I don't believe it's going to be my voice because they haven't asked me to do it yet, although they keep saying it's coming. So we'll see. Anyhow, that's it for tonight. Whatever you're doing, please be safe. Don't forget, we are far from out of the woodwork on a lot of things when it comes to terrorism in our country. There are a lot of people, a lot of cells still here. And thankfully, our FBI their terrorist task force is doing a great job of finding these people and catching them and locking their ass up. And that's a good thing. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, and their families. Our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. If anything breaks of major importance for American patriots between now and Thursday, I'll either put a video out about it or I will come on and do a live broadcast. But until then, hope you all have a wonderful and blessed evening. Same thing for tomorrow. And I'll see you back here on Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Central Time. Good night, my friends.